You may not know it, but the Auto Club of Southern California has been giving travelers reliable, trustworthy service for over 100 years. As we've grown, so have the benefits we offer our members. Now we can help you plan trips and save time, whether you're traveling around California, the U.S., or the world.
Road Trip with Hugh Hauser is made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and here we are on this beautiful morning in downtown Ukiah. Now Ukiah is the county seat of Mendocino County here in Northern California. And we have come here to visit three places that I've been hearing about, that I've been reading about for years. All three of them are really neat places. In fact, one of them, the whole story revolves around its historic bubbling water. Now, of course, as always, you're invited to come along with us on this adventure. We're going to have a lot of fun, see a lot of neat places, and meet a lot of nice people. If you're up for it, all you have to do is buckle up and join us, because we're going to spend 2 days in Ukiah on a road trip. Well, here we are. This is our first stop, and actually we're still right in downtown Ukiah. We're right on Main Street. We are here in front of these beautiful buildings right here, and here to greet us is the curator. Introduce yourself to everybody, Marvin.
Marvin Shank, curator of the Grace Hudson Museum.
The Grace Hudson Museum, and this museum and what's inside it, really this is a world-class museum, isn't it?
Well, we like to think so.
It is, and everybody, it's known really throughout the country, isn't it?
Yes.
And it gives us an amazing look back to a wonderful part of California history. Let's go inside. I'm really excited. I've been hearing about this museum for a long time, and I'm really excited about seeing what's inside. Inside this beautiful museum, Marvin, right off the bat, it's named the Grace Hudson Museum. A lot of people might not know who Grace Hudson was. A lot of people do know who she was, but this is a good opportunity right here at the entrance to explain the significance of Grace Hudson.
Well, exactly. When we introduce our tour groups to Grace with this painting, this is a self-portrait, life-size, that Grace did early in her art school training. And the wonderful thing about this painting, not only does it show what a beautiful, petite woman she was, but it's the fact that she designed and made that dress and hand-painted flowers on the dress, wow, as well as doing this full-size self-portrait.
Now, how old was she, and where was this done?
She was about 16. She was down in San Francisco, and I like to tell, especially our high school groups, that it's amazing what you can do without television when you have time to design your own clothes. And Grace did a lot of her own designing through the years.
And if she did this portrait, self-portrait at 16, early on it must have been evident that she had a lot of talent.
A lot of talent. She, especially with detail and portraiture, she's just incredible, and that's why her parents sent her to art school down in San Francisco at what is now the Art Institute.
Well, it's one thing to see this self-portrait when she was 16. That's not really what the payoff is, though. And
no,
the payoff,
what she did with that talent.
Absolutely. The payoff is back in the back here. That is just something that you have to see to believe. And here we are. Here is the payoff, Marvin. This is the core of the museum right here, the core of the collection. Tell us what it is we are seeing and why it is so significant.
Well, Grace Hudson, during her career, did 684 numbered portraits that she kept track of in her diary as her professional work. This is number one.
Number one.
Number one.
And looking at this now tells everyone why her work was so important, because she, in her career, her paintings all centered around Native American. She was doing something that few people in that era were doing.
Well, this is true. She was trying to document the Pomo, primarily the Pomo people of this area, but she also did other Native Americans as well in her travels. This #1 painting is called National Thorn.
National Thorn.
National Thorn, and it gives us a clue to Grace's approach and what made her paintings of the Native Americans different from, say, Remington and Russell and so forth, in that she was painting from a woman's point of view. And she's saying in this painting, how can this beautiful child wrapped tightly in a Pomo cradle basket, guarded by the Pomo's dog while the mother's gathering food, how can this child be a threat to the white settlers of the West? How can it be a thorn in their side? And this approach caught hold, and she became nationally famous for her paintings of primarily the children, but she expanded her painting to cover myths and various other scenes of the Pomo and medicine men and grown women and so forth, adults.
Because right over here is another child with a dog.
There's always a dog. There's always a dog, and this dog is named Doc. It was actually the Carpenter family dog, probably her mother's dog, that was posing here in this as a stand-in.
These are amazing, and of course this gallery is filled with amazing work done by Grace Hudson. Here are two right here. Here's another child. She really concentrated, and when you talk about being done from a women's perspective, what do you mean exactly?
Well, I don't think the painters of the Plains Indians, showing them on their horses with their shields and spears, would have thought of painting a child in a cradle basket. It's a woman's point of view. This painting here, which I consider the outright masterpiece that we have on display, and it's on loan from back east to us, but it's called Ukiah Treasures, and it shows the three most important possessions of a Pomo family.
The child.
The child, the dog.
Now, why would the dog be an important possession?
The dog was guarding the children while the parents were gathering food, and the basket.
And the basket.
The Pomos are the consummate basket makers in North America. They are just the best, and their baskets can be so tightly done that they can hold water.
Now, here's a basket right over here.
Right over here.
Is this a Pomo basket?
This is a Pomo basket from 1894, and it appears in the painting over there and another painting over there. So we have Grace's collection of basket and props that she used in her paintings, which allows us some great fun when we do exhibits to be able to show a basket that is actually in the painting.
So this basket would be in this
painting right
here. Oh, these faces are so...
They're haunting. They're just so beautiful.
They really are.
We have Pomo families that come in today to see their great-grandparent as a child in Grace's paintings, because many of the figures are identified by Grace as to who they are, and we try to give the name of the
look at this. Look at this young woman, and this is entitled "The Bride."
Right, from 1930.
Done in 1930. So Grace was doing work starting in
about 1890 was when she started her professional work, and she kept painting until the early 30s.
And here's some more artifacts over here.
Right, that small basket appears here in this painting, and the ear sticks, kind of earrings, are draped over here.
Are right down here. So it all fit together. Now, wasn't her husband involved in all of this as well?
Very much so. We think Grace's husband, Dr. John Hudson, who had come from Nashville, Tennessee, as a doctor to California working with the railroad, and he was a very handsome, eligible bachelor when he came to town, and the local girls made sure he got invited to the Pioneer Dance, and Grace scooped him up, and within 6 months they were wed.
And the two of them were both passionate about this Native American culture.
John always really wanted to be an anthropologist, but his father was a doctor, so he followed suit. But once he was out here and found that there were actually Native Americans in the community that he could study, he just said, you know, we have to preserve their culture. And he spent the rest of his life gathering collections. There's a collection of his on display at the Smithsonian and another one at the Field Museum.
Collections of
pomo baskets.
Baskets. So he was gathering the baskets, doing the anthropology.
The research.
Anthropology.
Right. And
she was doing the
She
painting.
was painting the portraits of the people. And he also wrote, as a yet unpublished dictionary of the Pomo language.
Wow. Look at this. This is just so...
Little Jack, it's called.
Little Jack.
Children and their pets. And Pomo pets tend to be quite different than what we're used to.
This is called...
Guideville Boy.
Now, did she get them to stand and pose for her like this?
Yes, but she also would use photographs as well. But she did a lot with them, having them pose in her studio.
So she would take photographs. Because wasn't her family into photography as well?
Her father, Aurelius Ormondo Carpenter, we call him AO for short, was one of the first photographers in the area and established a photo gallery in their house in Ukiah. And his wife and Grace helped with the business, as I'm sure the other kids in the family did too. But Grace especially was hand painting photographs early on.
So this family was quite a family here in town. They were the Renaissance family. They were doing everything.
Her mother, Helen, was one of the first school teachers. Her father helped start the first newspaper.
Look at this child right here. Just beautiful.
The beeping is our security system, but
I guess I do hear the beeps going off.
That's what that's about.
That's part of it. Look over here at this one, and she does use baskets.
Right, exactly, and seed gathering implement there, and yes, and I think she's trying to say here that the Pomos had to sort of get used to white settler clothing in this regard, because obviously it's hot out in the field.
Now look over here. Now there's so much to look at. Is this local? Are these Pomos?
Yes, they would be, and especially since he's wearing a flicker quill headband, which we have in the collection. In fact, it's on display here in the gallery. This is actually a funeral scene called The Coyote's Coming.
Look over here at this, called The Seed Conjurer, and look at all of this.
And again, there's the flicker quill headband, but worn in a different way.
And what is he doing down here? What is all of this?
Well, it's a ceremony. I'm sure it's trying to hope for a good harvest and that sort of thing.
Chabuk and KK Palm is the name of this.
Right. This shows two Pomo doing craft work, in that one is making a basket and the other one's making wampum, which they used as a money.
Where's the wampum?
It's right here. It's the white shell beads.
The beads right down here.
So right now he's smoking his pipe, but he's got his tools for drilling holes in the shell to do the beadwork.
Were the Native Americans, and look over here at this one is called the
Gift of Song.
The Gift of Song.
Or the Dawn of Song, I should say.
The Dawn of Song. She's playing a flute.
Now, what's special about this, and what I do with our tour groups, because we kind of usually end up at this painting, I ask the groups to just stand there for a minute and stare at the painting. And what they find is the longer they look at it, the more animals start to appear out of the trees and out of the brush.
Oh, look, you've obviously got the deer, but you have birds, raccoons, all back up in
quail,
down here.
Yeah, rabbits, and they all just start coming out. And this is a great way of illustrating to the students that, you need to stop and look at a painting, because the more you look at a painting, the more you'll find in it.
Now, were these paintings sold all over the country? Were these quickly became very popular?
Well, yes. That's the short answer. The long answer is she did sell at galleries all over the country. She entered her paintings in fairs, world fairs, and so forth, and won awards. And Yes, they were very popular and they moved very fast. And in fact, you can see that there's quite a few miniature paintings, and that's because she could do those quicker and get them out quicker and to keep the galleries happy.
So she was making money on this, but she also was very passionate about it as well.
Yes, and she had to, actually, because Dr. Hudson's medical practice waned as he spent more and more time collecting baskets and doing research. So he wasn't making much money except if he would sell a collection to a museum of baskets. So Grace actually supported the family for the most of their lives together. I mean, the thing about Grace is her family, having settled in Potter Valley, knew the Pomos. She grew up knowing lots of Pomo natives, and they were very friendly with the Pomos. And so she had entree for both her and her husband to study the Pomo and to paint them.
So they trusted her?
Very much so.
They
named their children after her sometimes.
You're kidding.
They called her the painter lady.
A very elegant lady here holding
She's a tarweed gatherer, which was a native plant that they would go out and gather.
What is this right down
That
here?
was for gathering the seeds, for kind of running it through the plants.
So when you look at these paintings, these are really bits of glimpses of back in time.
Exactly.
Of what life was like
They
back
were
then.
chronicling in accurate detail what the life of the Pomo was. Grace through the paintings and her husband through his actual research.
Okay, leaving the Grace Hudson Museum and coming right next door on the same property is this beautiful big old wooden house here. Is this technically part of the museum itself?
Absolutely. And matter of fact, it was the museum before the museum got built. For the first 10 years or so, all the activities around Grace Hudson
were inside this house.
Were inside this house, starting in the mid-'70s.
Did she live here?
This was Grace and John's dream house. They built this after 20 years of marriage so they could finally have the space they needed to pursue their careers and their work on documenting the Pomo.
So she would have actually done some of her work inside this house. That's where the easel would have been.
Exactly, and that was one of the main driving reasons for her to have a good studio.
When was it built?
It was built in 1911. They worked with the architect George Wilcox, who was up from the Bay Area for a while, and they had a lot of input into it, and they moved in New Year's Day in 1912.
And lived here?
Until John died in 1936 and Grace died in 1937.
Oh, wow, so this was their home. And it's called the Sun House, which I find very interesting because even when they named their house, they went back into the culture of the Native Americans.
Right. They borrowed this from the Hopi, and including a symbol of the Hopi symbol for the sun.
Right up here.
Exactly. Basically life-generating, life-creating.
Did they label this like this?
Actually, I suspect that is John's metalwork. His family had some metalworking background, and we're pretty sure that he did the metalwork on the house, like the hinges and the door knocker and so forth.
Wow. And this is a significant building because not only is this a California historic landmark, it's on the National Register of Historic Places.
Absolutely. It is an incredible example of a craftsman redwood bungalow.
We had to come inside the house because this is such an amazing house. And this is basically the way it looked when they lived here, and you told me that they even designed these little details.
Fixtures. Yes, the light fixtures were some of their input into the house.
Now, this isn't the way the studio looked exactly when Grace was painting here, is it?
No, her heirs, Mark and Melissa Carpenter, made some changes during their stay in the house. And
after Grace died?
After Grace died. And there used to be a slanted skylight here, and with a metal panel that Grace could raise.
Here's this photograph. It's amazing. She had a metal panel.
Would have been over here someplace.
Coming right up through the roof.
Right up through the roof. It's something she learned from her father in his photography studio, to reflect light down through her skylight for her painting.
Wow. She thought of everything, didn't she?
She was Brilliant lady, yes.
Well, she and her husband, and I tell you what, this is an amazing place. Thank you so much. This couple in California that did so much to document the Native American experience here in the time that they were documenting it.
They were very special.
Very special people, and it's all here for people today to see and enjoy and appreciate.
Absolutely.
Let's just stand out of the way because this is where she did her work, right here, so much of it, right here at this easel, doing so much to leave a rich heritage for all of us in California to enjoy today. Boy, I am really looking forward to this stop. And we got here. Here to greet us is the main man. Gilbert, introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Gilbert Ashoff, owner of Vichy Springs Resort in Ukiah, California.
Vichy Springs Resort, and we're standing in front of the plaque here that says this is California Registered Historical Landmark number 980. So this is a legitimately very historic spot in California.
That's correct. We had lots of very famous people who stayed here historically. President Grant, President Harrison, Mark Twain, Jack London, Robert Louis Stevenson.
All came here.
All came here.
All right, let's get started. That piques my interest because I know that this is a hot springs, a mineral springs resort. Is that true?
That's correct. We have water that's identical to Vichy Springs in France.
Now, what's so great about Vichy Springs in France?
Well, it's the granddaddy of all mineral waters. It's a naturally carbonated, warm spring source that was established by Julius Caesar as a spa quite a while ago. This was actually established by the Pomo Indians about 5,000 years ago.
So they were coming here. Can we walk over here? I see a pool over here. The Native Americans were here in these waters thousands of years ago.
That's correct.
And are these waters unique? I mean, there are lots of mineral spas in California.
They're unique in North America, actually. There's nothing else remotely even comes close to this mineral content, carbonation level, temperature, flow, all of it combined. As I said, there's one other place in the world where it occurs, Madagascar, France, and here.
Really?
Right.
Why here?
I don't know.
That's an honest answer.
That I can't answer.
Now, is this a mineral pool right here?
This was a pool filled with the Vichy water, and historically it was used for that, but at the moment it's from another spring on the property because it remains clear. It's a mineral spring, but it's not the Vichy water. The state of California passed legislation that wouldn't allow opaque pools, so you have to be able to see the bottom.
So the mineral water, I mean, this is mineral water, but this is not the kind of mineral water that made Vichy Springs famous.
That's correct. That's correct.
Is this warm? Is this cool?
This is an ambient temperature. It comes out of the ground naturally at 55 degrees, but the sun's probably got about 80 degrees today.
Is it all right if I put my foot in here?
I hope so.
This is all right. It's nice, cool water.
Right.
And this is a basic kind of a mineral pool, but it's not really the main reason
That's right.
people come here.
It's not the carbonated water. I'll show you those in a minute.
They came for the waters, but obviously from the earliest days, people came to get in the waters and to stay. These are these little cottages located all around the property.
Well, you have to realize that right now we're 2 hours from San Francisco, but when these buildings were built, this building was built, for example, in 1865, cottage up above it, 1854, there wasn't even a train here. So it took 2 days to get here. So
and how would they get here? I've seen a picture of a stage.
Well, ferries and then stagecoach. And eventually a train came, then there was a stage that met the train.
So this was a big deal to come up here to, what would they call it, take the waters? Isn't that what they said?
They took the waters. They would stay for a month at a time. It was American plan. All the meals were provided. They had an excellent table. That was what their advertising was. It was a beautiful place to come. They got away from the fog in San Francisco, which people still do.
Wow, look at this. Now this goes all the way back to
1854.
So they had these little cabins scattered all around the property, and people would stay for as long as a month?
That's correct. Jack London, we know for sure, stayed in here several times. He was a visitor to the Grace Hudson Museum, where I know you were this morning.
Right.
That's why he was here. He came and stayed here when he would visit Grace Hudson.
And the presidents? How did you get the presidents up here?
When we did our historical nomination, they showed up in newspaper articles. I don't know how they got here.
So they would have stayed here, taken the waters?
They're probably passing through. They took the waters because at that time mineral water was fashionable in the United States. They were like one generation removed from being Europeans. Therefore, they knew what mineral water was and what the effects were.
So this really, oh boy, look at this. Look at this view looking out here. Now you know why people would have loved to have come up here and stay as long as they did.
Same reason they come today. You know, we don't have any parking problems, no noise, no pollution. It's great.
Yeah, you don't allow noise in here, do you?
It's pretty quiet.
People get nice. So stress-free and laid back that you don't speak much above a whisper.
Not true. We have a lot of kids who come, they yell and scream. It's great fun, but it is relatively quiet here, especially at night.
I like the way you've mixed the old with the new. You've got the 1854 cabin over there. Obviously, these are new cabins you've built here, but they've got the old look to them.
That's correct. We modeled it after the original style, and we actually placed them where the original cottages were.
Do you know how many cottages? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 10, 12 cottages. Do you know how many were here in those very early days?
Historically, they had 100 cottages.
You're kidding.
They were individual cottages. They had, of course, didn't have plumbing, so they had outhouses. They had different facilities for that, but they had them spread out through the property.
And did they have a dining hall or something, or did people literally just live on their own in these little cabins?
They did. They had a dining hall. It was close to the swimming pool. They also had a hotel building, which is what the British call a hotel, a pub. Okay, they had a bar. They had their own dairy. They had everything fully equipped.
So when you came here, you were in your own cabin, but you were part of a larger group of people. It was almost like a camp in a way, wasn't it?
Well, that and people, when they traveled to these hot springs and resorts back in history, would come, like I said, for a month at a time. They kind of knew who was coming at a certain time, so they'd schedule their vacations around that, and they'd get together, you know, at Vichy Springs for the next year. They'd make their reservations a year out.
Having fun in the waters.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, this bridge is your personal touch to Vichy Springs, right? This is not historic necessarily.
That's correct. It's not historic. It's a replica of Monet's bridge in Giverny, France. And I was always looking for a place to put it and found one, and it works.
So you built this wonderful little, I guess you call it the Monet Bridge.
That's what we call it.
And it leads over into, I guess this would be considered ground zero over here, right?
This is ground zero. This is our hot spa. It has the same water as the swimming pool. It's not the Vichy water yet, but you notice it's set in a travertine backdrop. This is all a natural formation. It's a sediment layer from the mineral water itself, which is right next to us.
Yeah, I want to get to the real stuff. Enough of this spa water. Now, is this a little bathhouse here?
This is a bathhouse that dates from 1860. There are 10 mineral baths in the house, 6 inside, 4 outside.
Ah, oh, look. Now, this is, I've seen pictures of this right over here. This is the original place. Isn't this where the old photographs were made of people posed right here?
Well, this is the Vichy Spring. This is where the water comes out of the ground.
So wait a minute, is this is the water right here?
This is the water. The water in this spring is coming out about 65 gallons a minute. It's 90 degrees Fahrenheit, has a mineral content of 3,800 milligrams per liter.
Can I put my hand in there?
You can.
And this is 90 degrees.
It feels neutral or slightly cool today.
It doesn't feel like it's 90 degrees.
Your skin might be a little warmer than 90, so it might feel slightly cool today, because right now it's about
Look at
90.
this. Look at this. It's bubbling up. That happens every once in a while.
Correct. What you're looking at here is a very, very deep spring. When they did the analysis and measured the depth of this spring, they found it was about 5 miles below the surface is where it's coming from. It's been in the ground over 25,000 years.
Wow.
Very old, very deep, very secure. It's not super hot because it's never been in contact with magma. It's not volcanic. It's just a natural spring.
What is this white material over here?
It's calcium carbonate. It's a sediment. All this whole formation is the same thing. It's all sediment from the spring. It's about 1 million years of formation here.
Boy, now is time to talk a little bit about the smell, because there is a smell here.
Sure. Warm water coming from deep in the earth will have a little bit of hydrogen sulfide, so it's going to smell a little bit like rotten eggs. But as you notice, it's not real strong.
No, it doesn't smell nearly as much as some other springs I've visited in California.
Because, again, it's not volcanic. The volcanic springs tend to have a lot more hydrogen sulfide, coming up with them.
Boy, this is just, I love being here because of the old pictures I've seen. And this would have been the exact spot where the Native Americans would have used the waters, too. It would have been bubbling right out of this spot all these years.
That's correct. We surmise, because when I got here, this was all improved, probably around 1850, 1860 in that era. We surmised that they had just made a pool out here and just let the water flow into it.
Wow.
What the original Caucasian settlers in the valley did was establish a gravity flow system, much like the Romans did. So we still have gravity flow springs that were built in 1860.
And look where this water gravity flows down to. We've got some happy Vichy Springs people in here right now. Now, these are the original tubs right here, right?
That's correct. These were built in 1860. They are all manually operated. They have a standpipe at one end, a stopper. You just lift it, put it in the other end. They fill with 90-degree carbonated water.
And here's a smiling, happy guy right over here, totally inundated. Just got your head sticking out of it. Tell us about this experience. We can only guess what this feels like.
Well, I feel like I'm bathing in history.
Well, you are.
I am indeed, yeah, figuratively and literally.
Do you come here a lot?
Oh, several times a year at least.
Really?
I wish I could come more.
And what do you think this does for you? What do you think these waters have that no other waters have?
Well, it's relaxing. It's carbonated, and it's the whole atmosphere. It's not just the water. It's just beautiful here.
Yeah. And when you're in this tub, do you ever think back to the fact that this tub has been here for 150 years and wonder who else has been in here?
Yeah, I have, although this particular tub was redone this summer, but the other ones, yeah.
Come on, get in the spirit with me.
Right.
Tell me what you think.
Jack London.
Yeah,
Jack London was
right
here.
in this tub.
And Lord knows who else. But their spirit is here. It's imbued in the concrete.
Oh, she's going to go under? Oh my gosh. Are you supposed to do that?
Yeah.
The best way to do it is to just lay back and...
What?
I'm sorry. The best way to do it is just lay back and just float. It's great.
Really? So it's easy to float?
Oh, yeah. The water's very buoyant. You'll see. She'll just lay back and she'll just float. It gets you so relaxed. What happens after you're in the water, about 3 minutes and thereafter, the carbonation actually penetrates your skin and dilates your capillaries to the point where you feel like you're getting warmer. You get real warm and cozy, and you get so relaxed you just become buoyant and you float. It's an amazing feeling.
How long can she stay like that?
Indefinitely. Half an hour, whatever she wants.
We're coming in one of the private little rooms here. Now, is this original as well?
This is original. It's built in 1860, as all the tubs
So
were.
this has been standing here since 1860.
That's correct.
And these tubs, look at this. This looks like rust.
Well, it's actually iron oxide. It's a sediment from the mineral water. It gets a charge, and it sticks to whatever's around. So you've got an iron oxide covering.
Now, this is one of the original tubs. The tubs outside had been kind of cleaned up a little bit. These...
Well, there are two outside that have been redone. We just resurfaced them as all. The tubs are there. It's just a new surface because they were, as you can see, they're getting older.
This is the original surface here.
Haven't been resurfaced.
And how does the water get in here?
Very simple. There's a standpipe at one end. All you do is lift it, and the water flows by gravity from the spring, just like this.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. Wow.
Amazing. Very, very simple. They didn't have valves and pressure tanks and pumps and all that kind of thing back then, but they had gravity. And they had stoppers.
So it's as simple as taking the stopper out and letting the water flow through.
Put the stopper in the other end and it'll fill. They've got an overflow. It flows the whole time you're in, so you constantly...
better put the stopper back in there. It might...
There's plenty of water.
Wow. And when they came in here and they were sitting in here, look what they had. Look at their view out here. You've got your own little, this is a little creek that looks like it's got the, is this part of the spring?
No, it's actually a creek that runs through the property. It starts at the far end of the property and just off of it. It's called Little Grizzly Creek, Sulphur Creek, and Vichy Creek. It's got 3 names. Flows all year, and the mineral water joins the creek at this point, so the flow becomes heavier this time of the year from here.
So on certain days it could also be known as Smelly Creek.
Well, in the summertime it was known as Sulphur Creek from here down. Above it doesn't have it because there's no mineral water above it.
Now we're back outside with our happy soakers over here. And Gilbert, didn't you tell me that she was asking you a question? You were asking about what was the question you were asking?
What the effects of the water are.
Well, when you bathe in it, okay, it has 2 effects. One, if you drink it, and the other, if you bathe in it. When you bathe in it, the Indians knew this also. It works on your skin through the dilation of your capillaries. It opens everything up. Then the water can react. What it works on principally are burns, cuts, abrasions, psoriasis, poison oak.
So these are healing water.
Absolutely. This is a true healing water. If you look on the web under Vichy on the web, which is the French water, there are just it's legend. I mean, there are so many articles have been written about the healing properties of Vichy water. We have exactly the same water.
Did you have any cuts that have healed over since you've been in the water, or any things are you healed of any kind of?
I think so. I feel healed.
And what happens when you drink this water? I can't imagine drinking it. Is that safe?
Oh, sure, it's safe. It's potable. We used to bottle it actually, and we will again at some
but
time in the near future.
But it couldn't taste good.
Oh, it does. It's very sweet tasting actually. It has a bicarbonate. It has a slight bicarbonate taste, and it acts like a natural Alka-Seltzer, but it doesn't have that strong a taste. It's a buffer, so it buffers acidity in the system. Wow. It gives you any of the trace minerals. It was used on the athletic table in the LA Olympics for about 20 of the teams by the then president of the Health Valley Company in LA for the different teams to replace their nutrients.
Have you had any to drink?
I haven't. I got to go over and get me some.
Now, wait a minute. Can she get it right out of the spring?
Yes, you can drink it out of the spring. I do it all the time.
It's that pure?
Yes.
Here we go. We're going to have a toast to Vichy Springs. Yeah, here we go. Cheers. Boy.
It's mineral water.
It's mineral water, but it's different than any I've ever.
Mineral water.
Wow.
It's real.
It's real.
We have 700 acres of property back here. As you see a road taking off to the right here, there's another one to the left.
We saw a deer up there a minute ago.
There are deer, there are bobcats, there's any type of fauna that exists in this part of California is on the property.
So this is all part of the Vichy Springs experience. When you come here, you really get into the whole natural thing.
That's correct. You can bathe, you can swim, you can hike, you can have a massage.
You can drink it.
You can spend the night, you can drink it, you can do everything.
Wow. This is great. It's so wonderful that this is here, and this is the only place in our state, really the only place in our nation, right?
The only place in North America that's like this.
That has these waters.
That's correct.
And they have been here as this resort since 1850. They were here being used by the Native Americans long before that.
And they've been here, the springs have been here, they estimate 3 to 5 million years.
Wow.
So they're very old, very safe, very secure, and have been used by the population locally for just a short period of time, 5,000 years.
And as we know, Jack London was in that very tub right there, right?
We suspect. That's right.
That's it. California State Historical Landmark number 980, Vichy Springs Resort, right here in Ukiah. Boy, this is a real find.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Let's just get out of the way and get one more shot. Look at this. There's your advertisement right there. Look at look at these ladies. They are having so much fun. All 3 of them are having a ball, just soaking in these healing waters, these Vichy waters. Now, this is going to be very interesting for all of us because I'm not sure exactly what we have gotten into here. I do know that I've heard about this place for years and wanted to come here. the city of 10,000 Buddhas. And here to take us around, introduce yourself.
Terry Nicholson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
John Chu.
Nice to meet you. Now, we are standing here in front of these big buildings. These buildings are all over this area. Terry, tell us exactly what it is that used to be here.
This used to be the Mendocino State Hospital, mental hospital. It was closed in the late 1960s.
Okay, and then the Buddhists acquired it, and you've done amazing things here. Come on and let's walk and talk a little bit about what is going on here now.
Now we have about 250 people live here, including monks and nuns.
Monks and nuns, yes. Buddhist monks and nuns.
And a student, boarding student, day student. We have faculty, we have a maintenance crew. So basically self-contained.
It's like a campus.
Campus.
And what kind of schools do you have here?
School, we have a private elementary secondary school. Also have a Buddhist university. Other one is like a vocational training program for Buddhist study.
Now, is this just for Buddhists to come here, or is this open for anyone to come and study and learn and enjoy what's going on here?
We open for all different religions. And actually, we have a new project called International Institute for Philosophy and Ethics that will encourage different religions come here to study together.
So all religions are represented here, Christian, all the others?
All others are welcome to attend our conference.
Now, this is a huge area over here. What are we looking at here, Terry?
This is the main Buddha Hall and Assembly Hall. And if we get a chance to go inside, it has 10,000 Buddhas inside.
That's where it got its name.
That's
literally because there are 10,000 Buddhas here, or is there some symbolism to all of this?
There's also some symbolism. In Buddhism, we believe that everyone has the Buddha nature, the potential to become a Buddha. And the word 10,000 in the original Sanskrit has more of the meaning of infinite. So if we all have the potential to become Buddhas, then there is also infinite Buddhas possible.
Infinite possibilities here.
And there are also 10,000 Buddhas in the Buddha Hall.
Literally.
Literally.
Now look, you can see this is part of the old mental hospital over here. This looks like the area that they produced electricity, and is that right?
That was the main boiler room.
And then you've got buildings back here and buildings all around here. This is a huge campus. How big is this?
Do you know the exact acreage?
488 acres.
488 acres. Wow, it is. You've certainly got plenty of room to grow here. Let's talk to this fella. Could you come over here just a minute? Howdy. We're spending the afternoon here.
Hi.
Introduce yourself to everyone.
I'm Michael Cruiser.
Now, are you here to study, to learn? Are you a monk? I'm not sure I know even what to ask.
No, I'm a layperson. I'm studying Buddhism.
And how did you find out about this place?
I lived in Berkeley at the other monastery related to here. Yeah.
And tell us what it's like to be here. You live here on campus?
Just for 2 months for a retreat for Shurangama Sutra and mantra. So I'm studying scripture and chant and so forth.
And it must be a wonderful place to study. It's got such a wonderful feel to it.
Yeah, it's very quiet and calm. So I go back on the weekend to earn my living
in
to
the
pay
city.
For the rent in Berkeley. So it's strange coming back. I feel like sort of like when Keanu Reeves entered the Matrix and found out what the world's like. So you come back and the world's sort of a shock all of a sudden. So after being here.
Well, we're certainly enjoying our day here. Thank you very much for talking with us.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Okay, take care.
Now here's one of the old original buildings from back when this was a mental institution. This old Tudor style. This looks like it goes back to the 20s or 30s.
I'm not sure of the exact date, but it was used originally for training nurses when the hospital was here.
And what is it used for today?
It is an elementary school, has kindergarten up through 8th grade girls. Our schools here are separate.
And I love the sign. The name of this school is Instilling Goodness Elementary Girls School.
That's correct. And our high school is Developing Virtue. High School.
Wow, what great names!
That most important, teach the student to be a filial respect children and don't fight with their parents.
Oh boy, if you teach that, you're going to have a lot of people wanting to send their kids to school here, not to fight with their parents and to have respect.
That's what we teach. Through their daily life, develop this kind of good character, not just teach them.
That's wonderful that the schools teach character.
That's, the very basis of being a human being. So before you learn other things, first you have to learn how to be a good person.
Now, is that part of the Buddhist religion, or does that encompass a lot of different religions in kind of an ecumenical way?
I think that's a pretty ecumenical idea.
Yeah.
And we do have children from many different religions who come to school here, and we have yet to have a parent object to teaching children to be respectful.
Absolutely. Okay, let's walk right across the street, because this is the new building that you've built. And what is this?
This is the Hall of 10,000 Buddhas, the main worship hall here at the City of 10,000 Buddhas.
Wow, now that's Buddha right up there on the top.
That's Buddha.
And the idea is that this kind of the central focus of the whole campus right here?
It is.
Is this called a church? Is this called a, what is the?
We call it the Buddha Hall. It is an assembly hall. There's lectures here, and there are ceremonies here. It's a place where everybody in the community gathers.
Now, can we go inside? What's going on? Is there something going on inside there now?
Yeah, there's a ceremony that we perform here every afternoon. It's called the 10,000 Buddha Repentance Ceremony.
Oh, okay. Now, is this open to the public?
And it's open to the public.
So we can go in with our cameras? Sure. Is it okay to go in with the cameras?
Welcome.
Okay,
welcome,
great. Let's go inside this wonderful hall of the 10,000 Buddhas. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Tell us what we are seeing here.
Okay, we're seeing a ceremony called the 10,000 Buddha Repentance Ceremony, and it happens each afternoon after lunch. And we do this ceremony on behalf of the entire world to repent of the mistakes we've made and to change and go on and do good things.
Now, there are two groups of people here. These look like, over here, these look like the monks.
They're monks. In Buddhism, we call them bhikshus.
Bhikshus.
Bhikshus. And the nuns are called bhikshunis.
Then you've got
the lay members of the community.
And what is all of this food?
These are offerings that people have made. There's a holiday coming up, particularly focused on making offerings on behalf of deceased relatives and friends. So we're getting ready for that ceremony this Sunday.
And here are your 10,000 Buddhas. This whole hall is surrounded with them.
So yeah, and there's more up on the ceiling as well.
Now, is there some magic to the number 10,000? Why 10,000?
As I said before, it has to do with the idea of infinity, infinite, that we all have the Buddha nature, and so there are infinite Buddhas possible. There are infinite Buddhas now, and possibility for infinite Buddhas in the future as well.
Now this is beautiful. What's happening right now? They're stopping, going around.
They've been reciting what's called the Great Compassion Mantra. It's a prayer for peace and compassion.
Now, is this called a chant? What is this called?
This is a mantra that they are chanting. A mantra is like a prayer with very, very good positive energy for healing and helping, hopefully, the entire world.
Boy, you can really, we don't want to get any closer than where we are right now. Oh, there goes a gong.
So that signals that they're about to finish reciting this particular portion of the ceremony.
And does this go on every day?
Every day.
For how long?
It takes about an hour and a half.
This is such a beautiful, beautiful place. And there's such an energy because of all these Buddhas surrounding us here. You can really feel it here.
It's a pretty special place.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come in here. It was okay, wasn't it? We're not really bothering?
It's fine.
Let's take another look out here, because this is something many people don't usually get to see. It's just beautiful. This place is known for its food as well.
It's a special kind of food. It's all vegetarian. No eggs, no milk products, no fish, no garlic, and no onions, but it's still delicious.
And people come here, this is it right down here, they come here from the community and from all over the world to eat vegetarian.
That's correct.
All right, I'm in a vegetarian kind of a mood.
That's good.
So let's go in and eat. Now, right outside the restaurant, we've come across some...
chuckers.
Chuckers.
Small kind of bird.
And they are representative of animals that you have all over the campus.
Wildlife feels very safe here. Part of the Buddhist principle is not harming. And so you will see deer and rabbits and peacocks and raccoons.
I've heard the peacocks.
Yeah. And they all feel very comfortable here and are not afraid.
Yeah. All right, let's go in and eat now. Howdy.
Hey. Hi.
Y'all just eating?
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the food that we're going to get inside.
It's great. Everything is vegetarian, but very, very fine and delicate, well cooked. And the people are great here.
Now, how did you find out about this place?
I'm living in Ukiah for 20 years. And so
originally from
France.
From France,
mm-hmm.
And
yes, from France too.
He's visiting.
Ah, so you had to bring him here to eat.
Exactly, because it's such a peaceful place, and people are very, very nice. And
well, nice to meet you. You're taking some home with you.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good time, and bon appétit.
We're inside the To Your Health restaurant, and boy, I gotta look and find out what this is, because I think this is what I want. What are you all eating today?
It's a seaweed roll.
Seaweed roll?
Mm-hmm. With cucumber and carrots and a Thai sauce.
Now, do you all eat here a lot?
No, actually, this is our first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did you find out about it?
I've heard about it for years, and we were in Ukiah today.
Where are you from? What?
Windsor.
So you just on vacation here in California and decided to
stop by and see what it's about.
This is what I want. How do we go about? How do you know what to order?
Down, and there is a menu that has actually pictures of everything, so you can pick out what you'd like.
Our lunch has been delivered, and Terry, it was delivered to us by this young lady. You want to introduce her to us?
Okay, this is Chi Lim Boa, and she's a graduate of our high school. She was in school from 4th grade through 12th grade, and she's now a college student in the Bay Area.
Ah, so you're just working here?
Just came, volunteer.
During the summer?
Mm-hmm.
Well, explain to us exactly what we've gotten, because I'm not sure I know for sure what we ordered.
Okay.
We ordered from the menu by the pictures we were looking at. Right here, this is the seaweed.
Yeah, seaweed roll.
Uh-huh, and what else is on it?
Well, that one is the kind of like Thailand sauce.
But it's basically seaweed.
And cucumbers?
And cucumbers. Okay.
Inside is kind of like tofu thing.
Ah, I like tofu.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, now this is something I don't have a clue.
Vegetarian cold cut.
Vegetarian cold cuts, and what's in that?
They're made from soybeans and gluten, wheat gluten.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now this is the sweet and sour. What's in that?
It's wheat gluten, but it's pretty famous here.
Okay, so that you all have dishes that you're known for.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Now, none of this has any meat in it.
No, it's all vegetarian.
Okay, and then we got the brown rice, and we got this wonderful tea.
It's barley tea?
Barley tea. When people come in here, do they have any idea what to order, or do you have to help them like you did us?
Sometimes they ask us, but sometimes they just look at the picture, they like it, so they order.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
We pointed to the picture and said, we want that.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful place to work, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots of happy people come in here.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting ready to eat. Terry and I are going to eat. John, you've already eaten, right?
I just ate.
So John is going to watch us eat this wonderful, wonderful vegetarian meal. Well, we're all smiling because we all had one of the best vegetarian meals I have ever eaten. I hate to say goodbye, but we got to do it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming.
For your hospitality.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
And showing us around this wonderful place that's open for all Californians to come to and enjoy. When you come to this place, the city of 10,000 Buddhas, you not only replenish your body with that great food, but you replenish your soul and your spirit. This is a very special place. And just think about where we have been on this road trip. We've been to the Grace Hudson Museum and seen those amazing paintings that she did 100 years ago of the Native American people who lived in this area. We have bathed in those wonderful Vichy Spring waters and replenished our bodies and our souls there. And then we have come here to this place. Think about it. Think what we have here in California that's here for all of us to know and to visit and to enjoy. This is the very best that California can be, and I hope that you have had as much fun and have learned as much as we have on this wonderful, wonderful trip, this road trip to Mendocino County. Goodbye, everybody. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huell Hauser. I sure hope you enjoyed our visit to these three very special places in Ukiah, California. And if you'd like to go on this adventure again or share it with family and friends, it's available on video cassette or on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.
Road Trip with Huell Hauser is made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Next time you're ready to travel around California or anywhere in the world, remember, the Auto Club can help you save time and plan everything, and that can make any trip a lot more enjoyable. See you out there.
Serving your travel needs for over 100 years, the Auto Club of Southern California. We're always with you.